Good evening. If we could just start this meeting with a moment of silence for Officer Sean Lee, who just passed away this past weekend, please. Thank you. All the selectmen present will start by transmitting warrants 22, 22A, 23, and 23A.
Move the warrants as read by the chairman.
Second.
Motion made second. All in favor? Unanimous. We have no minutes to approve, so we'll start with our 7 o'clock appointment with Timothy H. McCoy and T.H. McCoy Restaurant Group, LLC, doing business as McDonald's Restaurant. A request to obtain a common victualer's license for property located at 212 Main Street. Oh. Good evening. Keep coming right up to this table here. No, you can sit down. Sure, you can sit down. I take it you're not Timothy?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm a representative from McDonald's Corporation.
And what your name is?
Ellen.
Ellen?
Ellen Locke,
Okay.
L-O-C-K-E.
Okay, and you're here to discuss the sale of the McDonald's to obtain a victualer's license?
Yeah. Yep.
Did you want to say anything on that?
Well, I've never done this before, so
Okay,
I'm not
so-
exactly sure how it all goes, so. We just want to get our license renewed for 2012. The store's been, Tim bought the store in August, and it's pretty new to him for what he needs to do. So he sent all the paperwork in, everything that they've actually asked for, he's already sent along.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you have it in your packet of information.
Right, we do have the packet here. Now, has there been any changes or anything to hours or
Nope.
anything?
Nope.
Everything is
Everything's
right?
exactly the same.
No, they didn't need the green.
No.
No, okay. Okay, everything's pretty much in the packet. Is there any questions or comments? Motion from the board?
I'd make a motion that
I'm
we
sorry.
grant the request.
Oh, yes, I'm
Subject to
sorry,
the
I'm sorry.
approvals.
Yeah, the recommendations.
Yep.
Yeah, favorable recommendations from the Board of Health and from the Inspector of Buildings, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. And
I don't think I need to abstain, even though my last name's McCoy, but anyway, no, I make a motion to grant the request as indicated here on the agenda.
Second.
motion made, second, all in favor? It's unanimous? Thank you.
Is that?
That was-
Very simple. Now, does that get sent out, or we just get it now?
Yes, you can,
We'll
we'll
send
send
it?
it out,
Okay,
yeah.
great, thank you.
thank you. Okay, our 7:05 appointment is with Rebecca Martinello, co-advisor Justin Blair, president, and Caitlin Kinsella, executive board member, Wilmington High School Chapter of Students Against Destructive Decisions, SAD, for their 30th anniversary. Good evening. Come on up. Good evening. So you're here to discuss the 30th anniversary of the SAD organization?
Yes. Well, I can start by saying that thank you very much for recognizing us. We are very thrilled that we could showcase what we've done over the past so many years. SAD has been part of Wilmington High School for approximately 15 years and has gradually grown in membership over the years. Some of the things that we've done in the recent year, we've done Chick-fil-A, seatbelt safety promotions. We've done Red Ribbon Week promotions, quite a bit of activities within the school system working with the Wildcat Project, as well as some of the other organizations within the school. So we've been bringing in presentations for things such as the mandatory pre-prom meeting, as well as during school seminars for different classes. So we appreciate you recognizing the 30th anniversary. It's quite exciting. And
Did you want to say something?
Just thank you for the recognition, and we hope to continue to help out the community in the ways that we can.
Excellent. Now, I know we used to be Students Against Drunk Driving, is that?
It used to be, yes.
And when did it change the name to? Destructive Decisions?
I believe within the last 5 years. So it has been something that we focus not only on just drunk driving, but destructive decisions such as texting and driving, which is a very prevalent thing in our society at this point, and with the new law that's passed. So some of those things, and as of December, it is Safe Driving Month and Drunk Driving Awareness Month, but we also are going to be doing an initiative for safe driving and seatbelt safety this month. So we're doing some activities in the school before the holiday season.
Outstanding. Any questions or comments from the board?
Just to thank you all for continuing to work and put in the hours that you do. It's a wonderful program, and it's great that you get the opportunity to come in here and let the community know what you're doing, in case they haven't noticed some of the work that you've been doing.
Yes, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just want to also just echo what Mr. Newhouse just stated. I know this has been, part of the high school for many years, and I know it continues to evolve, this and other projects. I, as a former school committee member, actually was at the assembly for the Carafiller and also some of the other events. So I know you've done a considerable amount of work also at the intermediate level as well, which is very appreciated, to try and do some early intervention, and specifically around the area of bullying, which has become a main topic. So I really appreciate all the effort that you all are doing collectively with your organization, and please keep up the great work, because we need you. And you're doing a great service, so job well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, well said, Ms. O'Connell. I agree. When I remember I was in high school around the time when Students Against Drunk Driving was being formed, and the idea of it, and the issue or the challenge of young people drinking and driving was real prominent, and that was the one that everyone was talking about. And now, as has been articulated by you and others here, so many other issues have come to light that need attention, and it's a testament to goodwill and your efforts that these are brought to our awareness, and that the young people are kind of charged with getting the message out. So my compliments and my thanks to you, and my wishes that you'll continue doing that good work for all of our benefits. So thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you. And now it's my honor to go up front here to present you with a plaque from the Board of Selectmen.
Come up here.
The Town of Wilmington Certificate of Recognition presented to the Wilmington High School Chapter of Students Against Destructive Decisions, SAD, for its unwavering commitment to meeting its mission to provide students with the best prevention tools possible to deal with the issues of underage drinking, other drug use, risky and impaired driving, and other destructive decisions. And in further recognition of the 30th anniversary of SAD and the Wilmington High School's chapter active participation in promoting a healthy lifestyle and a safer community in which to live. Congratulations. Congratulations. Thank you
so
for
much.
your work.
Take a photo.
Yeah, sure. Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay. Our 7:15 appointment is with Paul Cardello, Eddie Williams, and Wayne Fox, and they're here to report on the recent activities related to the iPods for Wounded Veterans Project. Gentlemen, I don't see Eddie here. He's not here. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening. How's everyone on the board doing tonight?
Good, you?
Very well.
Good. Happy holidays to you.
Look you.
Good evening. My name is Paul Godello. I am the chairman of iPods for Wounded Veterans. To my right is Wayne Fox, the co-chairman of iPods for Wounded Veterans. I am a Teamster from Local 170 out of Worcester, Mass. Been in the Teamsters for 36 years. Wayne is a Teamster out of Local 25 in Boston. I just want to give you a little summary of what has happened in the past 14 months. The organization of iPods for Wounded Veterans was established over a year ago this past October to provide iPods and other materials to improve the quality of life to our wounded veterans. These veterans are confined to military and veterans hospitals for a long period of time. Let me try to explain the process they go through. First, the wounds are stabilized by medical personnel in the war zone. Then they are shipped to a military hospital in Germany, where they are operated on and prepared for shipment back to the United States. Depending on the seriousness and the type of wounds, they were sent to either Bethesda Naval Hospital or Walter Reed Medical Center. And since we started this program, the government has closed Walter Reed Medical Center and combined it with Bethesda Naval Hospital. It is now called the Walter Reed National Medical Center at Bethesda, and are sending severe head trauma cases to Fort Belvoir Medical Center in Virginia, where they go through more operations and fitted for artificial limbs and start their long period of rehabilitation process. Later on, they are transferred to VA hospitals in the States. And speaking of Fort Belvoir, a group of us just returned from the community hospital at Fort Belvoir this past weekend, where we delivered 97 iPods, 1 iPad Nano, 4 iPads Apple II, 1 Nook Color, 12 Nook readers, 1 Nook tablet, 2 Kindle Fires, 1 speaker tower system, as well as 54 iTunes cards and hundreds of magazines for the wounded veterans to enjoy. Approximate cost of all this is between $5,000 and $8,000, all through the donations with the help of our corporate sponsors. It would take longer to raise the sum of money to purchase these items. The wounds suffered by these young men and women are horrendous. As a friend of mine and a member of my staff and a former Vietnam veteran said to me, in Vietnam we had injuries, but some were very serious, but they were geared to anti-personnel mines, and they were meant to wound a person, maybe the guy beside you. But these injuries caused by IEDs improvised explosive devices, which can be set off from many yards and even miles away, are terrible and meant to maim and affect everyone within the area. Explosion causing loss of arm, legs, and serious head injuries, even if you're in a vehicle. You can't imagine how long the rehabilitation process is. Not just a couple of days, but the months or even years of repetition exercise and learn how to walk, write, or even talk. So these iPods goes a long way, providing a diversion while they go through their individual rehab. They can pin the iPods on the joints and program music up to 300 songs and put earphones and transport themselves somewhere else while they go through the rehab. We have provided iPads to the hospital so the veterans can sign them out and program music right from their iPods. We also expanded our program to the Nooks, where the devices that can be loaded on a book or electronically to allow a veteran to read and can turn the page by just touching it, the page with his finger. And one of our corporate sponsors, Hudson News, has supplies us with thousands of dollars of magazines for the veterans. While when they read them, they can exchange with each other. This year, we started another little program called Dear Soldier, where we had the first grade and students in one of our elementary schools write letters, a Cub Scout pack from Worcester that sent letters and pictures to the soldiers in the hospital. And this fall, we expanded the program to our elementary school, to our Journeytown and Billerica, where 1st and 5th graders participated in writing letters to the soldiers. We recently delivered to the wounded veterans letters posters from the 2nd and 3rd grade students from the Woburn Street School in Wilmington, and they were a big hit. And speaking of delivering iPods and other materials, I believe that's what makes our organization unique. We just don't send these items to the hospital and hope they get to the wounded soldiers. We hand deliver them, talk to the wounded veterans, see the expressions on their faces, and that a group of people would take time to come down from Wilmington in New England and drive 10 hours in a van to see these wounded warriors that just came off the battlefield and have their families express their gratitude to all the people here in Wilmington, Merrimack Valley, is an unprecedented feat to many of them. The announcement by the President of the United States recently that he's bringing home the troops from Iraq go a long way towards our goal. But until that time, there is a constant flow of new arrivals at these hospitals. We need a steady supply of iPods, iPads, and Nooks. This requires us to reach out to the community and the businesses for help. It's hard to believe such a small act of kindness can bring so much gratitude. And it's with the help of our corporate sponsors, Textron Defense Systems from Wilmington, Mass., Bella Insurance from Quincy, Mass., Hudson News out of Worcester, and our association with the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, individual state units, the National Organization of Veterans of Foreign Wars. That includes state units down to the post level, like the Billerica Post and the Wilmington Post VFWs, that have been with us from the beginning, and many others. And just recently, Jim Marshall's Auto Body Car Star and his association has a fundraiser for the month of November and December, donated the proceeds to iPods for wounded veterans. With the help of these fine organizations, we could not afford to purchase iPods or Nooks. So again, I want to thank everybody from the town of Wilmington that has supported this program, and I want to thank the chairman, Lou Samaya, and local heroes who really made the first donation so we could be here. They donated $1,000 so we could apply for our nonprofit public charity status with the federal government. And I really want to thank Lou for that, because we wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for Lou's organization. So thank you, local heroes.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
This program started with Lou Samaya calling the hospital down there to find out what the veterans really needed, and he said iPods. So Lou organized the trip to go to Washington. We got all kinds of veterans from the Merrimack Valley from all different kinds of wars. It was probably, like Lou said, it was a trip of a lifetime to hear the stories what we heard on the bus, and especially the two gentlemen from World War II talking about building the runway of the Aleutian Islands for the invasion of Japan, which was fascinating on a 10-hour bus drive down there. But as it expanded, Lou stayed with the veterans. They went on a trip. Wayne and I went to Walter Reed, and we met the veterans for the first time at the Malone House, and we gave out 37 iPods. And then we got a call back like 72 hours later that we have to come back for Thanksgiving. We made such an impact, so we went on a fundraising drive, and we went down 5.5 weeks later, and we went down with 80 iPods. So that's how it evolved, and now we've expanded the program for the amputee section to the Nook readers, the tablets, and the Apple iPad 2 for the soldiers. But basically, we're here tonight. We want to thank the people of Wilmington, because this program would have never started without the support of this town and the businesses in this town. I want to really thank Matt and Chuck DePasquale at Rockles. We have a jar up there. As we stated, we got 54 iTunes cards, and the people of this town were major contributors to donating money to the iPods. Also, Mike McCoy, Selectman Mike McCoy, bought 5 iPods. We thank him very much for that. But overall, this program is taken off. It's being a national, it could evolve into a national program. So we want to make these announcements here. First of all, to the Woburn Street School. Wayne and I were there last week on Monday. We met the entire third grade class in the auditorium, and troops sent back gifts to the classroom, and they talked about, from the National Air and Space Museum. And this is what it's about. These letters that these students wrote, this is from the third grade class from the Woburn Street School. This is the cover letter. And, yeah, I gotta get it upside down. And just basically, dear soldier, my name is Ashley. I want to say thank you for serving our country. You did a wonderful job serving our country, and here is an acoustic poem for you. Military is to serve our country. I hope you are feeling better. Learning in the military might be fun. I think you are part of our country's history. Thanks for serving our country, and you did a great job. Ready in action every day, and you are a wonderful person. That's from Ashley in the Woburn Street School. And we had 135 of these letters from the Woburn Street School. So we want to acknowledge these people that have worked really hard on this. And Mr. Arsenal, here's another one before I get in. This is another one. She designed this for the students with the military flag, and it says, "Let's freedom ring. Dear soldier, you are very brave and tough. You are kind and thoughtful and helpful. You protect our country from danger, and I believe in you and think you are caring for what you do. It must take a lot of skills to fight in the Army. You are very respectful to our country and flag." And on the back of it, "May especially for you by the third graders at the Woburn Street School." This program is an offshoot of iPods for wounded veterans, and we can go right here. The principal, Mr. Arsenal, wanted to get the students involved in Veterans Day, and he asked us how could we go here about we were going to Bethesda, and the town crier led the lead story here, "Dear Soldier." This is what it's about. You see the students writing the letters to that, and this is the second graders in the Lowell Sun with Quartermaster Ed Williams diagramming to the students what it meant to have an amputee. He had them lift up their leg and put their arm behind their back and try to write their names with the opposite hand. So I just want to thank everybody that got involved in the Dear Soldier program, Mr. Arsenault and Ms. Tarza, who took it upon herself to get the entire school involved. I want to read this letter from the Department of Army from Fort Belvoir. Fort Belvoir Warrior Battalion, 55969th Street, Building 1260, Fort Belvoir, Virginia. Ms. Tarza in the third grade class, the Dear Soldier Campaign, Woburn Street School. Dear Ms. Tarza class, it is with great appreciation that we would like to thank you on behalf of Fort Belvoir Warrior and Transition Battalion for your very special letters in your class banner to the wounded, ill, and injured warriors at Fort Belvoir. The letters in support of the Dear Soldier campaign were given to the warriors have already lifted the morale of our soldiers. It touches such as this helps us keep our soldiers focused during the healing process we could not achieve without these wonderful support of your students. Thank you respectfully, Pamela Wynn Lovelace, Outreach Coordinator for the Wounded Warrior Support Program. And this town, we feel this is a model program, and we're already getting calls from educators from different parts of the state looking into it. Going to Bethesda is, to say the least, it's heart-wrenching, and to see the wounded warriors there, and to have their spirits lift us up is an amazing experience. That's why Wayne and myself are probably in this. But to have them, have to be amputees, but they don't want to go back to home. They want to go back to Iraq or Afghanistan to serve in administrative capacity for a fourth tour or fifth tour. And that's the spirit they have. Even though they're severely injured, that's the attitude of the soldiers. But for all the people that supported this program, I just can't thank everybody enough. Started in Wilmington, went to Billerica, Tewksbury, Lowell, and everybody else. It spread to the Merrimack Valley. And Wilmington resident Gail and Bob and Gail Regan from Blanchard Road, they bought 10 iPods and 5 Easy Readers, Nook Easy Readers, so we have to acknowledge them. Textron, another, took less than 24 hours to get behind this program. Also, Arbella Insurance, through Sir Reeve Hall Insurance, they had a match program. Whatever our insurance agent would give, they would match it. But they started a charity fund. Arbella started a charity fund. We were the second group to apply for funding to them, and they came back and they saw what we were doing, and they responded and they gave us another $2,000 check. And the Warriors sent them a 24 by 36 frame picture of the wounded warriors receiving their iPods. They were so impressed with that. They have a complex down in Quincy with 800 employees, and it's hanging up in the lobby. for every employee that goes to work every day that could see it. So I want to thank Larry Hall, Beverly Tansek, and President John L. Donahue of Arbella Insurance to be a backbone of this program. I also want to thank CVS in Wilmington, who we had a donated iPod touch phone, a $300 iPod touch phone. They donated a stereo speaker system with 70% off. That went to Mr. Massachusetts soldier, and he was shocked to see what the people gave him. A tower speaker system plus an iPod touch phone. The second graders from the Moonwood Street School made a big USA poster. They signed their name to it. It's at the nurses station at Bethesda hanging up. They also made 4 posters that said Mr. Massachusetts. 2 of them are hanging up in Bethesda, and the other 2 are hanging up at Fort Belvoir. And the gratitude we see is that that they care about the support we're having in America. As Lou can attest, they're doing 3 or 4 tours of duty over there. It's an all-volunteer army. It's not drafted. It's different from when we went into service. But we just want to make this announcement here that we've been notified. This is our new logo. I should have this up. We have a new website, iPodsForWoundedVeterans.org, and we're on Facebook. So we're on that now. And Bob Holland from Bill Ricker, Donate the Car and Truck Heavy Equipment Program. We raised $3,400 on that. That's how we got the iPads. He was a big supporter of that. Also, Teamster Local 677 from Waterbury, Connecticut, ran a spaghetti supper fundraiser, and they have just donated to us 55 MP3 players. So Wayne and I will be going to Waterbury very shortly to congratulate them. But we want to announce the awards tonight. The Teamster VFW Community Service Award goes to Hudson News in Worcester, Mass. This company in 14 months has given us $50,000 in brand new magazines to all the troops. Also, the Teamster VFW Humanitarian Award goes to Bill Ricker, VFW Solomon Post 8819, and John Parker, with all the volunteers to help us do the fundraisers over there. We could not ever get this organization off the ground and never do that, and also the Women's Auxiliary Unit. The Teamster VFW Inspiration Award goes to Ed Williams from the Wilmington VFW. He's also the quartermaster, and he's the iPod secretary treasurer. Wayne and I, Ed Williams is an inspiration to all of us. He's one of our guiding lights to all of this. And our final award goes to the Teamster VFW Teacher of the Year Award is going to Christian Tauser, 2nd grade, Woburn Street School, Wilmington, Mass. Also, we want to recognize the Boy Scout troop in Worcester, who donated all the pictures that are hanging up in the hospital. But these people went above and beyond. Hudson News, we asked them, we told them we're going to 2 hospitals. I said, could you give us a little extra magazines this time, because we're going to a 2nd hospital. And he said, where are you going? I said, we're going to the traumatic brain injury unit. They said, they called back 4 hours later. They said, you're going to get $13,000 worth of magazines. So we cannot thank Hudson News and my business agent, Ed Peliquin, to get us involved in that. And the teacher, Christian Tauser, has really been sensational getting this Dear Soldier campaign off. We'll be speaking in front of the Wilmington School Committee on January 11th about that campaign. But we have an ongoing campaign. We are on thank to Helen Mastriani, we're on a speaking tour for the Rotarian Association. We were in Weston last Thursday night, we're in Lowell tomorrow. Following week, we're in Waltham. January 18th, we're in Wilmington. January 30th, we're in Watertown and Melrose on February vacation week. But to the townspeople of Wilmington, to the board, chairman, to Michael Carr, I just can't thank you enough. And from all the troops, from Bethesda and Fort Belvoir, to see the smile on the faces, to see somebody have a smile over a $10 iTunes card, it's an amazing experience, to say the least. And to the soldiers who are missing limbs off their arms, to get a Nook reader and have their parents come out and said, my son's been here for 3.5 weeks. It's the first time he smiled. You can't believe what it means to me and Wayne. I want to turn this over to Wayne. Wayne's going to talk about our first soldier that got the iPod and what it meant to him.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for taking the time to let us be here and speak with you. I want to also thank, as Paul said earlier, the townspeople of Wilmington. Lou, you helped to get rolling, baby, and we're not even picking them any moss right yet. We're just going to steamroll right down there over and over. And the main goal of iPods is hopefully we'll never need this program. We won't ever have another injured soldier that we'll have to go see, except for a humanitarian visit to catch up and see how they're doing through the rehab. But it's been a blessing. America's going through a lot of tough stuff right now, and this has been a godsend to me because it's really grounded myself personally. And I'm thankful that Paul's brainchild wasn't a one and done as we thought it was going to be. And it's really gaining a lot of momentum, and I'm happy to be a part of it. I'm proud to be an American, to live in the greatest country in the world. We have opportunities here that other people in the world die for every day, day in and day out. And this is what it's shown me, that how blessed I am, because I've traveled, like I'm sure a lot of you, to a lot of places. And we are so fortunate, even though we're in a little bit of a spiral right now. We are very, very fortunate. But our first trip down there, Lou, you were a wingman. We were there. We went down and we saw this young man right down the street from Stoneham. And the night before, his iPod fried on him. It went crispy critter. And his mom came up to us and just embraced us, gave us hugs, and I can't believe it. This is just, divine intervention. And he said, my son's iPod burnt out on him last night, and he was the first one to get it. We gave him a stack of magazines. The Red Sox organization I'd like to recognize as well, because they also donated a lot of materials to give to the soldiers. And we had a nice photo of him holding the Red Sox magazine with Big Poppy on the front. And it was just really inspirational. And he just had his right leg amputated. And believe me, when we went to the Malone house, it was really something special, because that's the last phase of their transition back out into society, or if they're going to cycle back into the unit in the administrative capacity. And it was just really just the one, you can't explain it. You have to live it, and going up there and seeing them and touching them and interacting with them and their families, that's what makes this program so unique. A lot of people are in a lot of great organizations that they do a lot of great work, but we go and add a real human element to it. I mean, we interact with the families, we pray with them, we talk with them, we be a supporter. I played 15 years of semi-pro football, and I enjoyed the heck out of that. And I used to have to gear myself up for the game and then stay at that level and be focused, and then gear myself down after the game for interviews, and just because I had to go home with my family. I can't be all jacked up after knocking snot bubbles out of people for 60 minutes or getting my snot bubbles knocked out of me, so, which happened more than I like to admit to. But these guys really just, we went down there and they were thanking us. And that our premise and our purpose was to go thank them. And they thanked us. And I walked out of there and just said to Paul, they just flipped the script on us. They did a 180 on us. We walked out of there, just elated. But the point is that they have to motivate themselves day in and day out, every single second. I can't imagine not waking up in the morning and hitting the ground running without my limbs. And I just can't imagine how it is to have to stay focused and keep yourself at that level to get up and do it every day. And these guys have really, really touched my heart and my family. My dad, right here, Alden Fox, he's 92 years young, World War II vet. My uncles and aunts served, so I missed the curve when I graduated in '75, so I wanted to get involved. And then Paul said, thought you was going to start this program. I said, show me where I sign up. So it's a phenomenal program. It's for some phenomenal Americans, and we can't do enough for them. There's still a lot more things out there that can be discovered and done, but this is just really, really special to them because we interact with one and all, and they absolutely love it, and we get so much out of it. And it's a great program. I thank the people of Wilmington for what they've given us over at Rocco's and everything, and for you guys to hear us out this evening. I want to say thank you. And Lou, you were one of the main players in the game, and if it wasn't for your inspiration and ideology, we'd probably still be kicking mud somewhere. So thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, gentlemen, both. I think it'd be pretty fair to say that that's the first time that snot bubbles has ever been used at a Board of Selectmen meeting. But thank you very much. It is quite a story, and I think you said it all. Is there any questions or comments from the board?
I'll just make a quick comment. As Paul said, Lou and his organization, the Local Heroes, do an outstanding job. The easy part is writing out the check and giving it to a great organization. The tough part is what you guys do, and you taking time from your family to go to Washington to do what you need to do. And I take my hat off to you, and you're right. It is a volunteer army, and I think about something. An employee of mine, John Doobie, who's very good friends with my son Michael, who graduated Shawshene Tech, is going into the service in January, and Saturday was his last day at the restaurant. And I'm a little taken back by that because it is a volunteer army. We're at war, and he's going. I take my hat off to him, and I got to honestly say the kid taking his job said I can only work for 5 months because he's going into the service in May, and I hired him to take his job. And it means a lot that these guys are out there, and we're at war. And for them to do that, I take my hat off to anybody that does that. And what you guys do to these veterans that come back and a little bit of a smile, it means a lot. And I want to thank you and Lou, and what an outstanding job you guys do.
It's incredible to see these kids. I mean, we see burn victims, we see bilateral amputees, we see severely brain injured people, and we had that one young man that was from, where was he from? When he came in, we couldn't see him. It was ICU. Last trip down.
Yeah.
And the parents came out in the hallway and just embraced us and said, thank you ever so much. We kept him in our thoughts and prayers. Thank God he's turned the corner. But he's not out of the woods by a long shot. And that's what is so special about this program, is we interact with them, and we have to stay focused. We go in there, put our game face on, and we come out, with just smiles. I mean, these letters that these kids write, you can't imagine how. We had one guy just sit there and break down. We gave him the iPad, we gave him the iPod, we gave him the books from Hudson, we gave him an iTunes card, and when he read that letter, he started weeping right there. None of us could hold back the tears, and he said, that is the most wonderful gift I've gotten since I've been here. And believe me when I tell you, I've got 1,000 stories, and that's 1,000 too many, in my opinion. But until we get everybody home and accounted for and back up and running, this program is going to do what it's designed to do.
One thing I want to mention is that we did come back, and we concentrate on Massachusetts veterans. We're invited to go to the VFW, the West Roxbury Veterans Affairs Medical Center. And Wilmington House of Pizza made 22 pizzas and calzones. And they just sent me this letter on behalf of the West Roxbury VA and the Boston HCS patients and staffs. We'd like to extend your organization for your sponsorship of iPods, 1 iPad, 1 Nook reader, 1,500 magazines to our veterans. Your thoughtfulness reflects the concern that you feel for our veterans and for the service they provided to all of us while service in our country. Without your support, we could not provide the activities like this that makes your hospitalization more bearable. Thank you for your continued support. Ralph March, Chief Voluntary Service, Department of Veteran Affairs. So we are going to our goal is to go to Massachusetts and hospitals in New England eventually, and to take care of New England. But when we go down there, our goal is first we see a Massachusetts soldier, and then we go to New England, and then we go to the rest of the country. And our CarStar program with Linway Auto Auction, its final week is coming up here, and they've been fundraising for like 6 weeks. And CarStar program is 400 dealers in North America and United States, and it's run through Marshall's Auto Body and Bill Ricker. As you can see on this, they have the iTunes card and the iPods, and you can donate as any amount of donations, 50, 10, $5 or $2, whatever you want. They'll be coming on iPods for Wounded Veterans program on December 21st to make a presentation of a check that they've been fundraising. We feel it's gonna be a substantial one, because we have received donations from Utah, Washington, Oregon, North Dakota, Florida, Louisiana. This is from the troops at Bethesda, and I said, they asked us what you could do for us, and we said, just tell when you go back home, tell everybody about our program. And with our website and Facebook, it's taken off. And we just completed construction of our website, and it's, we're adding pages to it and stuff, but our Facebook page is really working. I can have comments on that. The troops are making comments about receiving their iPods and stuff like that. So that's basically it, and I just want to thank everybody. I can't thank you enough, because really, Local Heroes is really the key player in this. That first $1,000 to get that 501c3c, nonprofit public charity. And Team iPod, 26 volunteers. No one's taking a salary here. 90 to 92% money goes to the soldiers. We just take out expenses. Merchants Auto Group gave us a van, unlimited mileage, cut the price in half. And they've been unbelievable. We can't thank Alan Singer on that. He's been unbelievable. We told him what we were doing. He's another one that's firmly behind us. The reason why we're driving 10 hours in a van, because we got so much stuff, we couldn't get it on an airplane. Oh, it cost us about five more tickets, I believe. But these organizations that got involved with us have really been great. And for everybody that's been involved, people in Billerica, and like I say, in Tewksbury, our media partner is Channel 7. They give us $500. They bought 10 iPods. They did a story on us on Channel 7 and Channel 56. Fox Bus Lines, Millbury, they gave us $500 when we took everybody to Washington in October. They bought 10 iPods. So Bill Fox donated that. Wilmington Town Crier, Wilmington Advocate, Billerica Minuteman, Lowell Sun have done articles on us.
Sounds like you guys have been pretty busy over the last year.
Yeah, well, the
plus.
speaking tour has come out of the left field here. We never thought we'd be on a speaking tour.
Any other questions or anything from the board, or?
I think we've covered everything.
Yeah.
Say the website address, please.
iPodsForWounded.org, and we're on Facebook, iPods for Wounded Veterans. And if anybody wants to make a donation, like, you can go, and if you want to make a comment on Facebook, please go on that, make a comment on that. And basically, in closing, from all the medical staff, from all the troops, from everybody at Bethesda, and for everybody at Fort Belvoir, the smile on their faces. Christmas came early last week when we were down there, for getting the iPads and the Nook readers.
Well, thank you both for coming in and explaining everything to us, and keep up the good work.
Well,
Thank you.
for
Thank you
leading the
very
way.
much.
Thank you.
everyone.
Happy
Yes,
holidays.
Merry Christmas.
Have a safe and blessed holiday, one and all, all right?
You too. Thank
God
you.
bless America.
That's right. Okay, communications.
Thank you for your time.
All right, take it easy.
Mr. Chairman, the board has a letter from Darrell Sheehan, who's a campaign organizer from Clean Water Action, regarding support of the producer take-back legislation. He writes as Selectmen noting that Wilmington is one of the 182 cities and towns that signed a resolution calling for producer take-back legislation for electronics and other hazardous products. And once again, there's been legislation filed regarding how discarded electronics should be handled. The bills call for the brand owners of these products, rather than the individual municipalities, to pay for their collection, recycling, or safe disposal. The board has acted favorably in the past, as recently as June of 2010, when the board took a favorable position on this, and initially back in November of 2003. So I don't know what your pleasure is at this point, if you wanted a letter to go out again reiterating the board's support, or unless the board has changed its position.
Any questions or comments on that? I don't think we've changed our position.
I may have. Look, I don't want to make a big thing about it, but I read the letter and I read some of the language of the bills, and you know, I don't want to be associated with or be thought to be anti-recycling. Certainly, I'm a big fan of recycling. I'm a big recycler myself, but my concern is that in making the producers have to pay. There's a statement right in it that says, when the cost of managing these discarded products shifts from local taxpayers to the producers who design the products, they then have a financial incentive to make the products more recyclable and less toxic. That's logical to me, but the question that rises in my head, and I'd love to have a short discussion on it, is will that not also, or will it incent the producers to raise their prices? To me, it seems like a recipe for either manufactured inflation, either bona fide, sincere inflation, or an excuse to raise prices. So I just question whether or not the measure being asked for here is going to have the desired results. I don't want to. I mean, I guess I would say if the board was inclined to vote in favor of sending a letter, I'd join my colleagues and make it unanimous. I guess sometimes I feel like we don't analyze these things and sort of rubber stamp them forward. And this one, to me, rose enough to my consciousness that I felt like it was worthy, for my own knowledge, to be able to get a better understanding of how the claim that these bills, if made into law, will incent the producers to produce less toxic and more recyclable products is an interesting claim, but I'm not hearing the next sentence I want to hear, which is, how is it going to do that? And what are they going to do specifically? And what's the program that's going to be put in place to make these producers accountable to somehow collect these goods back? And how much are we going to save as a community? And that was a question I had. Maybe Mr. Curry can help me understand. Is that the $21,000 that's on the budget for the hazardous waste program?
No.
It's not. Okay.
No.
Is that the tickets we get if I have to throw a refrigerator or a TV away, and I come in and I get a thing that I have to put on, and you guys call a contractor that comes pick it up on Friday?
It's more, yes.
It's that.
That's that. It's not the hazardous materials day that we have each year would not have an effect on this, but it would have to do with the computers and other CRTs that are discarded.
Which I don't think we have a lot of cost in that we sort of pass the cost on to the residents anyway, do we not?
For the most part.
So
we don't have to, I mean, there's no need to take an action.
Yeah, I'm inclined to not take
point.
action is how I would like to see us go on this particular one. I don't want to start a whole discussion of opposing it, but I'm not necessarily in favor. So I would launch that onto the table.
I just have an issue with the rubber stamp quote.
Yeah, and I'm sorry.
That was a little broad brush to paint either this board or any other legislator at any level to say that we rubber stamp things. I don't think I've ever rubber stamped anything that I haven't read when we got our packet. And I just think that was kind of a odd statement to make.
And I'll retract it. I agree. It was a poor choice of words.
I was just going to say, taking no action, I think is fine. Regardless of what the legislation might be, unless it's very specifically tailored in a way that affects the town, I always get concerned about saying too much to our legislative delegation, because they're there as it transforms through the process. So that's what they get elected to do. So I'm fine just taking no action. I know the legislative delegation, based on our previous action, knows that generally we support recycling, and I'm sure they'll keep an eye on this bill and tend to it in a way that's in the town's best interest.
We as a community, and at least in my experience, we as a community take recycling very serious, and I think we have robust programs in place today to handle all types of recycling, and to the compliments of the administrators and previous boards that have created these programs. So yeah, I'm in agreement with you, Mr. Newhouse, that the programs today exist, and I think they do a good job, and taking no action for me feels like we can leave our legislators to continue to work the process.
I would just say I would be in agreement with no action. I do want to let you know, I took the liberty, for example, of checking out HP, having prior affiliation with them, and some of these computer companies, just as a side note, they offer their own recycling program for residents at home. So certainly, as an example with HP, if you go onto hp.com, you put in the specs of your given computer, they will actually do a trade-in, trade-up. So sometimes you can actually trade in your computer and actually use that as dollars towards your next purchase. In addition, they may work with you if they see it as a valuable donation. They will actually make arrangements to come and pick it up. Also, too, if it doesn't fit their program, they also give you instructions to go to another organization that you can actually donate products. So between what the town of Wilmington offers and what some of these other corporations offer directly, I think there are avenues for residents to explore outside of a letter. Just wanted to mention that as an example.
Thank you. Mr. McCoy? Anything?
I'm all set, thank you.
So I think we've pretty much no action. Okay.
We have correspondence from Mary Freer of Verizon regarding changes that are being made to the Verizon Business Customer Video packages. There's a number of various changes that are being made in terms of channels either being added or removed from the different lineups. But I can assure you that all of the affected customers have been notified.
You don't want to go through all those channels?
Unless you want me to.
No, I think good.
Mr. Chairman, the board is being asked to consider signing a determination of uniqueness relative to the acquisition of real property currently owned by the First Baptist Church and located at 173 Church Street in Wilmington. This is the piece of property that you were authorized by action of the Board of Selectmen to acquire. And given the fact that the vote was favorable, the Board of Selectmen is being asked to assign the determination of uniqueness, which is also required by the general laws, Chapter 30B, in order for the town to dispense with an RFP requirement when purchasing property that's valued under $25,000. That's a recommendation that town council to sign the document, and they have prepared it for signature. So I would request that the Board of Selectmen consider voting in favor to sign.
Questions, comments, or a motion?
I move that the board sign the determination of uniqueness that has been provided and outlined by the manager.
Second?
Motion made second. All in favor? Unanimous?
Thank you. And now we come to the time in the meeting that I know all of you enjoy. Just sign your name 200 or 300 times. This is for the board's consideration on approving the 2012 licenses for alcoholic beverages, automatic amusement devices, Class 1 garage, Class 2 garage, entertainment, and common victualler licenses. Initially, Mr. Chairman, we have the following licenses that are all up for renewal with regard to the 2012 alcohol licenses. For alcohol licenses at restaurants, they are the following: 99 Restaurants of Boston, A&C Stone, which is Golden Ginger Restaurant, Focaccia Restaurant, Michael's Place, Pepper Dining, which is Chili's Grill and Bar, Rocco's Restaurant, Royal Dynasty. Those are the restaurants that are all up. So if we could get a vote on those.
We could take those up together. Mr. McCoy just have to abstain from the...
I'll abstain from my own, I'll support the others.
Okay. Entertain a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Second?
Motion made, second, all in favor? It's unanimous with one abstention for Michael's place.
I should put in the record that the police chief obviously is asked to make a recommendation, and he has reviewed the applications for renewal of the respective alcohol licenses that are coming before the board. Each year, the department conducts random compliance checks and notifies the Board of Selectmen as well as the licensee of any non-compliance issues. As of the last compliance check of each respective license type, all applicants for renewal are currently in compliance. Therefore, the department recommends renewal of the alcohol licenses. Next would be the 2 club licenses, one for Aleppo Temple, which is Fordham Associates at the Shriners, and the other is for the Knights of Columbus, the 4982 Building Association.
Okay, we've got the recommendations on those.
Yes, the recommendation that I just read is the same for each of the alcohol licenses.
Entertain a motion.
Move to approve the all alcohol license for the Aleppo Temple and Knights of Columbus clubs.
Second?
Motion made, second, all in favor? It's unanimous.
And we have for package stores the following licenses for renewal: Colonial Park Liquors, Eastgate Liquor Store, ShopRite Liquors, Wilmington Plaza Wine and Spirits, and Robert P. McCann Jr. doing business as Main Street Liquors.
Okay, entertain a motion to accept those licenses as well.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Motion made, second, all in favor? It's unanimous.
We'll start on both sides for these licenses. As long as I get them back. And Mike, yours is tabbed, so just ignore that. Mr. Chairman, with regard to the automatic amusement device license, recommendation from the chief is relative to the Santa Maria, the licenses for Santa Maria Pizza, which has been reviewed by Chief Begonis, and he indicates that upon completing his investigation, the department recommends approval of the 2012 license applications to operate 3 automatic amusement devices at Santa Maria Pizza, located at 362 Middlesex Avenue.
Entertain a motion for the automatic amusement devices license renewal.
So moved.
Second?
Motion made, second, all in favor? It's unanimous.
The 2012 Class 1 licenses up for renewal: Bill Doobie Hyundai and Chimino Automotive Inc., which is Cornerstone Mitsubishi. We have recommendations from the Police Department, who recommends renewal of the licenses, and favorable recommendations from all the department heads involved.
Entertain a motion for the Class 1 garage licenses.
Move to grant the license as described by the manager.
Second?
Motion made, second, all in favor? It's unanimous.
We have the 2012 Class 2 license holders all seeking renewal, all with favorable recommendations. They include Advanced Automotive, which is Wilmington Shell at 779 Woburn Street, Charlie's Auto Sales at 611 Main Street, Heavy Equipment Connection at 239 Andover Street, Imperial Auto LLC at 845 Woburn Street, J&E Services Corporation, 619 Rear Main Street, and Route 16 Auto Broker at 600 Main Street.
Entertain a motion for the Class 2 garage licenses.
Motion so moved.
Second?
Motion made second, all in favor? It's unanimous.
We have renewals requested for the 2012 entertainment license holders with favorable recommendations for Olivera Enterprises, which is doing businesses for Kasha Restaurant and for Rocco's Restaurant on Main Street.
Entertain a motion for the amusement licenses.
So moved.
Motion made,
Second.
second, all in favor? It's unanimous. Done this way.
And the 2012 common victual license holders, all up for renewal there as follows. 99 restaurants, AJ's Kitchen, As Good As It Gets Cafe, Big Joe's Enterprises, Brothers Roast Beef and Pizza, Burger King Restaurant, China Walk Country Chef Restaurant, Dunkin' Donuts at 211 Lowell Street, at 195 Main Street, at 357 Middlesex Avenue, and at 321 Main Street. Olivera Enterprises, which is Focaccia Restaurant, Fordham Associates, which is Aleppo Temple, the Golden Ginger Restaurant, Jasmine Cuisine Restaurant, K&A Cones, Kendra and Anthony's, the Knights of Columbus, McDonald's Restaurant, Michael's Place, Chili's Grill and Bar, Peter's Pizza and Roast Beef, Rocco's Restaurant, Royal Dynasty Restaurant, the Sandwich Exchange Express, Samard's Super Beef, Sonic Drive-In, Starbucks Coffee, Carmela Stop and Go, Subway, Sunnyside Cafe, the Corner Store at Shawshene Avenue, Wilmington House of Pizza, and I did list McDonald's, however, that was just taken care of by the board.
Okay, these are all favorable recommendations. Correct.
We certainly don't lack places to eat, apparently.
We could entertain a motion to take them all up, except for Michael's Place.
Move to approve all of the common victuals licenses as listed, except for Michael's Place at this time.
Okay. Motion made.
Second?
Second, all in favor? It's unanimous. And then we'll just take up Michael's Place.
Move to approve Michael's Place.
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor? One abstention?
Thank you.
No problem.
Mr. Chairman, that concludes the regular business before the board.
Okay. Any public comments? Okay. New business committee reports.
I'm sure you'll touch upon the schools, lead at Mr. Newhouse. Really glad to see what happened, and I was there, and it's a great victory for the town and for our kids, and glad to be part of it. Thank you.
I think it's been said. Very satisfying to see that kind of a turnout, both the ballot box and the town meeting.
I would certainly echo the sentiments. It was certainly very pleased to see how many residents came out to participate in town meeting, and I'm thrilled with the results, and I look forward to a new beginning for the educational future of our children. Thank you.
Hard to improve on the very good words of all of you, my colleagues, but on Saturday, for me, it was one of my proudest moments as a resident, and certainly my proudest moment as a member of this board, to stand in unanimous approval with you fine people and the rest of the elected officials, as well as in almost unanimous support among our fellow residents. I agree with Ms. O'Connell. I'm very excited to start the next step in the process and start to see the fruition of all the hard work that's led us to this point. So thank you, Wilmington, for coming out in such force on Saturday, and congratulations to us all.
Thank you. Well said. I know we started with a moment of silence, but I'd just like to again mention Officer Sean Lee. He was a good man, doing a good job, and he's going to be dearly missed in this community. And that's all I got. Important dates?
Just remind people that the town offices will be closed, obviously, on Christmas and on New Year's Day, but as well on December 26th and on January 2nd. And we wish all a happy holiday, Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year as the board next meets on January 9th. We will be having curbside collection of Christmas trees beginning January 3rd, and that will go right through to January 13th. Just please put them out at curbside and remove all decorations. And on January 8th, Sunday, the Herndon Tavern open house will take place from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Thank you. Before we entertain a motion to, I'd like to say Merry Christmas to everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful holiday season. Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Motion made, second, all in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you.